Hello, it's Sylvie and Angela again. Tonight, Mother is going to be talking about Afghanistan. And if you can't notice, Mother has a brand new haircut. Mother, let's see. Show us the side of your head. Give us a view of the back. Mother's pigtails are gone. Okay, so she has a brand new, sassy haircut. So, Mother, it's all yours. You go ahead and say whatever you want to say.
I'm going to start on a part of my life that was quite long in memory, maybe not in years. And I want to talk something why we went to Kabul in Afghanistan. My father had always applied to be teaching in a foreign country. He wanted to teach in a foreign country. And so he got a job in Afghanistan. I want to tell you a little about the political situation at those days. At that time, Afghanistan had been a kingdom for a long, long time. And when we came to Afghanistan,
which was 1935?
No, 1934 in April. On the 7th of April, we arrived in Afghanistan. But I need to tell you a little bit about the political situation, because the young king, he was born 1914, and he became king in 1933. And he wanted his male students to have a chance to go to some of the famous European universities. So that's why my father got a job in Afghanistan. At that time, German was the language of science, and he wanted his students to learn German. And therefore my father got that job because he was teaching German and English and history. And my father met this king. His name was Mohammed Yasir Shah, and he was king from 1933 to 1973, when the Taliban became active in Afghanistan. We left Germany in early April, and I don't remember how we got to the Italian harbor of Genoa. That's where we boarded a boat or a ship. I don't remember any of that. But on our trip through the Mediterranean Ocean and through the Suez Canal and then to Bombay, there still is an active volcano. His name is Stromboli. And my father woke us up around midnight because that volcano was always active. So when our ship passed by the Stromboli volcano, we saw the fires going out, and that is one thing I remember very vividly about that trip. Also, my sister was about 9 months old, and we were on a boat, and she was very little, and she would climb up the stairs, and the captain evidently liked her, and my mother let her climb the steps, and she fell and she broke a tooth. And the captain was very angry with my mother that she allowed that little child to climb the steps. And another thing, in our cabin, we had those windows, the bull's eyes, but they were so big into the boat that my brother would climb into those, curl himself up, and I was always afraid that that window would burst open and he would fall into the ocean. Of course, nothing would happen, but I kept pulling him away from the window and told him not to climb into it. I don't remember if he ever listened to me or not, but to this day I can feel the fear that he would drown because that window would go open.
No.
I cannot remember anything, how we got to Bombay, how we got from Bombay to Afghanistan. I believe it might have been a train. Later on, when we came back, I remember the train ride. I do not remember anything, how we ended up in Kabul, whether we got there by train or by coach. I have no idea. The only thing that I remember at that time, that we came to this absolutely huge house. It was beautiful. It had a veranda that was probably 50 feet long and had French windows all around. I remember the windows. And I also remember that my father told me that he met the king of Afghanistan, which makes sense because the king wanted a German to come. And at that time, Kabul had a German embassy, a Dutch embassy, a French embassy, and an English embassy. And I remember that we had at our house a lot of very fancy parties. But at that time, I remember my mother wearing a beautiful dress. It was long and white, and it had all red poppies over there, and I thought she looked absolutely beautiful.
Poppy flowers?
Poppy flowers, yeah.
Were they red poppy flowers?
Red poppy flowers print.
Which, for Sylvie von Bossowitz to wear anything other than navy or black when she was...
No.
In the time I knew her,
later
that
on
was...
in life, my mother only wore dark red and navy blue. She never had... I never saw... The only time I remember my mother wearing this very beautiful dress was when I was about 5, and that was in Afghanistan. I never seen her, I never saw her in a dress like that ever again. And we were allowed, when the party started, my brother and I were allowed to come. We always had to get dressed up, and I had to shake hands with everybody and curtsy, and my brother had to bow, and we had to behave our best manners. And after half an hour, we then went back to our bedroom, and I always felt so proud that I could be with all these glamorous adults. I'm wondering if I should stop now. No, I tell you another story, because I told you the first name of the king was Muhammad. And we had a servant, and we called him Mamashan. And my mother had told him not to help us pick toys, but he did pick up toys for us. And if he found a piece of paper, he pretended to swallow it. And we thought that was so funny. We loved that man with all our hearts. He was our buddy, he played with us, and he did all kinds of things with us. There's so many, many more memories, but I think I will probably stop now and then go, because the memories I have are spontaneous and not necessarily in the right order time-wise. And that's going to take a little bit longer, because we lived a fairy tale life in those years when we were in Afghanistan. So for tonight, I think I say goodbye, and I'll talk to you soon again. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.